Welcome to St. Augustine this evening, the Mike Davis Show with Amanda Bouye.
Hey, I'm here. Hey, everybody.
We're so happy Amanda's here. We're so glad somebody's here.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'd be talking to
busy.
myself, which I frequently do, and I find those conversations to be quite interesting.
You'd be lonely, too, because you don't know how to get live.
I don't know how to get live. I would literally be talking to myself.
You'd be very lonely.
Figuratively, literally, ecumenically, all of the things.
All of the things.
Just talking to myself. Yes.
God would be with you.
He would be. I have some great conversations with him. Some of them are even about you.
I believe that.
Yes.
Sorry for being a thorn in your side on occasion.
Just praying for you and your van.
My
just
van.
Praying for you and your van. All right. We have a great show for everyone tonight. Really going to enjoy tonight's show. We got all kinds of topics. We're going to get the range over politics, which we haven't done the last couple of nights. Had some amazing guests on, but we're going to kind of
very
get into
wholesome, peaceful conversations.
Those of you that missed us railing over politics, today's your show. This is it, just for you. Happy Hump Day. We're going to talk about all the things we're getting screwed over from by our government. But before we do that, let's make some money for the show.
Awesome.
Hey, St. Augustine homeowners and business owners, have you been thinking about giving your property a refresh? Let me tell you about Cleansing Power LLC. They're one-stop shop for all your exterior cleaning needs and more. They do it all, from pressure washing to soft washing to keep your home looking spotless, to paver sealing that protects your investment. You got dirty windows, they handle those too. Whether you're a homeowner trying to boost your curb appeal or a business owner looking to keep your storefront sharp, Cleansing Power LLC has you covered. They take on both residential and commercial projects, big or small. But wait, there's more. If you're looking for a complete transformation, Cleansing Power LLC offers interior and exterior painting services as well. Just don't take my word for it. Check out their 5-star reviews on Google. And while you're at it, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok while you can, for cleaning tips and inspiration. Ready to make your property shine again? Give Cleansing Power LLC a call today, 904-687-8236, or shoot them an email at cleansingpowerllc@gmail.com.
Awesome. Opening their doors in 2008, Brightway Insurance, the Casey agency, has proudly stood by their customers through hurricanes, major floods, hail, and fires. Through these events, the agency has become a much-needed insurance resource in times of trouble and hardship. Honesty and integrity are the pillars of our core values, says owner Ashley Casey. They pride themselves on being insurance experts while developing strategies that help their clients meet their insurance needs. They truly enjoy the relationships that they have forged with you. All of St. Augustine, they really love you, and they want to do the absolute best for you for all your insurance needs. Brightway Insurance, the Casey agency. We also have Solar Stick. They were established in 2006. Solar Stick is a local portable power company proudly committed to American manufacturing, constant innovation, and creating jobs right here in St. Augustine, Florida. Solar Stick's focus on providing solutions for self-sufficiency helps users all over the world complete missions and save lives. Solar Sticks, changing lives, saving lives, and reviving American manufacturing.
All right, and Bozard Ford. I could give you the normal read, but I'm not going to. Last weekend, I had a friend in town, her son's friend, had stopped in to see his mom, had some car problems. He is currently in the Army and needed to get back to base. It was a Ford truck, a couple of quick calls, one from her, one from me to Bo Bozard. The last one from Bo to this service member to get his car fixed on Monday so he could get back to base in time. That's the kind of people Bozard Ford are. So you can go see them out there at their site. You can check them out at bozardford.com. But amazing company. They do great work. And if you're in the need for a newer used car, go see Bozard Ford.
Absolutely.
All right. Are we up on Rumble today too?
We are up on Rumble.
Sweet.
We are up on Facebook. We're doing all the things.
That's it. So Facebook, if you want to keep up with Rumble, fix the algorithm.
Yeah, for sure. I think we might be shadow banned.
We might be. Who said what yesterday?
I don't know.
We had was it the morning show?
Maybe.
I'm just wondering what they talk about today.
I don't know. I was doing angel tree stuff, so I missed the show.
Angel tree stuff.
I was doing angel tree stuff.
It is Christmas.
It is.
It's kind of the season for angel tree. And you also had an update, Salvation Army angel tree.
Yes. So Salvation Army, they reached out. They wanted us to know about Angel Tree distribution in St. Augustine. So Salvation Army in St. Johns County will be distributing Angel Tree gifts to families on Thursday, December 19th. Toy distribution will take place at Destiny Church Daycare Facility. That's 1485B US 1 South, St. Augustine, Florida, 32084. We've got over 200 families that will receive their gifts through a drive-through service that runs between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Angel recipients will receive toys, clothes, and food cards, all made possible by generous community donations. Representatives will be on hand to pass out food gift cards, which were funded by the annual Empty Stocking Fund. They also want to thank Angel Tree location sponsors, which include Beaver Toyota, UPS Store, County Road 210, Walmart Supercenter, Dervin and St. Augustine, Ring Power, Blue Green Vacations, Ideal Aluminum, Spice and Tea Exchange, great people, Grace United Methodist, and Patriot Oak School. They all supported and sponsored Angel Tree this year, so we thank them. We've seen a slight increase in those seeking help this Christmas. In 2023, they served 408 children and anticipate serving 550 children by the end of 2024. So our church participates in Angel Tree. Our youth group, they raise money and they go shopping for students. We had 11 kids from 5 families that our church supported. And so the youth group went shopping. It's a big, fun annual thing that our youth does. It's one of the favorite things that they do. And they have a big wrapping party, and then they have a Christmas party for the youth group kids after that. And so the gifts had to get to the school today. And I'm a homeschooler, so I am available during the day. And I have a minivan. So I was
check.
I was asked to come and help.
Gullible, check. Willing to help at a phone call, check.
Yeah. Didn't even get a phone call. I got a text. So all the gifts are wrapped. we had to get them in bags and label them so we had Santa bags that we were carrying out of church. It was kind of fun. We had 11 Santa sacks full of Christmas toys and clothes and gifts and goodies. And so those went into my van and Father Caleb's van, and we headed down to Crookshanks Elementary where we dropped them off. So that was cool for the kids and I to be able to do that today.
Yeah, I mean, I think St. Augustine is a huge giving, caring community. St. Johns County as a whole, right? Yeah. So they see a need, and people are more than willing to pitch in and chip in and help out. So I think it's absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great to see the people that come together to make things happen for people in need in this community. And I mean, that's something that we talk about on this show. They talk about on the afternoon show. We should talk about on this network. St. Johns County is an amazing county with loving people that really want to help and support the community.
Yeah. So all of our listeners that are out there, we thank you guys for doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I go around town, and we talked about the Anastasia Diner, and I know there's people that are they're pulling money out of their own pocket. They're quietly helping other people, and it's just awesome this time of year.
For
you guys are all your own George Bailey.
Yes. Yep. And every little thing helps. I mean, it doesn't require a huge action to change someone's day. Just a smile can do that. You never know where people are at this time of year. We talked about that on Monday. Just a smile, just that little moment of connection and sharing joy, saying happy holidays or Merry Christmas. Just letting someone know that they're seen and that you care enough in that moment. I actually greeted an older gentleman in the church parking lot today, and we attend the same church service.
Yep.
I greeted him today and asked him how he was doing, and he kind of stopped for a second, and he answered. And then he was like, "Thank you for caring." That sort of stopped me in my tracks, because I was like, well, I do care, and I'm glad you are doing good today.
It just takes a second.
It really does.
I had a friend, and was in college, and I'd be walking across campus, and I got to know a lot of people down at Florida Southern. It was a small campus. And so I would say hello to them as we're walking by. Some of them I had classes with that year. Some of them, just got to know at different campus activities. Some of them out at night drinking. And my buddy says to me, he says, "There's no way you know this many people." And I'm like, I've met people along the way this year. And he's like, "We asked them all how they're doing." And I said, "Yeah, I care." He said, Well, if they said they weren't doing good, what would you do? I said, I'd stop and I'd talk to them and I'd say, is there anything I can do to help you out?
Yeah.
And so that's what I would do. I don't think you would. I said, you just need to hang around me a little bit longer. I can show you that that's exactly what I would have done.
That is what Mike Davis
Yeah, it was really, he said, you're just the king.
You were about to leave last night, and I said something that stopped you in your tracks, and you sat down and we talked.
I did sit back down and we did talk. Yes.
That is what you do.
No, it did not involve me apologizing for something I did to Amanda. I just want to clear that up right now.
It didn't at all.
Nothing to do with that.
100% did not involve that.
Might have been the first time ever, but it was last night. It was okay. Yes.
Yeah. There's just a lot going on at Christmas time, and so that's one of the reasons why he mentioned my van, because that's one of the things going on.
Barbara Jean's in the house.
Barbara Jean.
So very happy Barbara Jean's here. And Kathy. All right.
My comments are lagging.
So, this is my favorite topic. You know where we're going to go. First topic out of the gate.
All right.
Are you okay? Let's just get it over with. Let's just pull the Band-Aid off and get this done.
Let's go.
Matt Gaetz.
Let's talk about my former classmate.
Your former classmate. Mm-hmm. So there's all these rumors going around and stories that they are going to release the damaging report.
The Ethics Committee report.
The Ethics Committee report.
Yes.
Several people in Congress have said, if you release that, release them all.
Yeah.
Release every single ethics report you've ever done.
Let's do this.
Don't stop now. Yeah. Just release them all. Mm-hmm. So what say ye, oh hater of Matt Gaetz?
I'm going to take us back to the time when I lived on a schooner for a short period of time, and we were in dry dock because our engine went out. And while we were stuck in Gloucester, Massachusetts, replacing our engine with a brand new diesel engine, it was beautiful. The captain said, we're not doing stuff, we're cleaning. So we were all getting ready to just lay out on the ship deck and work on our class material, because it was a semester at sea kind of deal. And we were like, and she's like, no, sunlight's the best disinfectant. She literally said that. She's like, grab all your mattresses and your sheets and bring it up. We're going to let them sun out. And so we totally did that. We brought all of the linens, all of the fabrics up to let them cook in the sun. And she sent us down to then clean the bunks, because now they were naked and needed to be cleaned. So we all had to clean our room essentially until the local, those amphibian duck tours.
Yes.
Where it's like the vehicle that goes on water and on land.
It's a duck boat.
We got added on to the duck boat tour while we had all of our mattresses and sheets out, and we looked like a refugee vessel, because it was a historic schooner that we were in. Yeah. And so they had spotted us the day before, and unbeknownst to us, they had Googled us, and so they added us onto the tour, and that embarrassed the captain, and we had to take everything back downstairs. So
sunlight could have been worse. It could have been laundry day.
Well, we could have all been in bikinis, and it could have been way worse. So all that to say, sunlight is the best disinfectant. And let's find out what all of you people know about all of these public servants, and let's decide whether they do get reelection once we know the garbage they're doing.
What a great gig. Only in Congress can you do something so bad that they won't release the report.
Yeah, because they don't want to look bad by association.
They don't, but then you get additional funding from whatever the Republican congressional arm, the Democratic congressional arm is, or senatorial arm. They send you money.
Yeah.
Even they know there's this report, but they're not going to release the report. There's a list too I'd love to see.
Yeah,
there's just one list I'd love to see that everybody in this country would love to see.
Because there's the one you're referencing.
Oh, I'm referencing it.
The island one.
Yes.
Sir Jeffrey.
Yep.
Who, like the Christmas lights, did not hang himself. Just saying. Can't imagine why we're shadow banned. But there's also the Diddy list now.
That's why I love Rumble.
Yeah.
I tell you, we're going to Rumble. I got to be able to speak freely. And, Facebook, if you're listening, you guys you suck.
We can speak freely on Facebook. We'll just get shadow banned.
We'll just get shadow banned.
But didn't Congress have a slush fund to pay out sexual harassment?
Oh, yeah. And yes.
That was just off the books slush fund.
Off the books. We're not going to report who it is.
So I want that list too. So there's 3 lists.
So I
want to know who.
We want all the ethics reports. We want the island list.
Yeah.
And we want the slush fund list.
Yeah.
Publish it all. It's what you should do.
Yeah.
Listen, you're authorizing all these agencies to spy on us, and you're authorizing all these companies to shadow ban and do those things. So why don't you put all the rest of that information out as
You're
well?
working with Google and Apple that these little surveillance devices can follow us around and you know everything about us. Let's know about you.
It's not called surveillance capitalism for nothing. Yeah. Because that's exactly what it is.
Oh, my word. It's so bad.
For those of you that still want a Christmas gift, here's the hack. Find your spouse's phone, walk up to the phone and start speaking. It doesn't have to be even looking at its on because it's listening all the time.
Yeah.
And just tell the phone what you want.
Yeah.
And then that should come in, should start popping up on ads for your significant other's phone.
Yeah.
That's how you would do that.
I never once looked up plane tickets on my phone for our Peru trip. I only looked on my work computer. And
it knows who you're connected
all of my Facebook ads.
It knows who you're
for
connected
like 3 weeks.
Nope, it knows.
It knows. Sky Airlines.
They know. They know.
I do not recommend Sky Airlines, by the way.
They do.
Yeah.
Did you get there and back?
We got there and back.
Okay.
It's like
it's being a diva.
They took so much. They like totally extorted money out of us. It was crazy. Hundreds of dollars gone because they couldn't get their act together.
I got to tell you, I got hit pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Going on a surf trip this year.
Yeah.
I mean, the flight was like $99 to Puerto Rico and back, but the surfboard was like $400 both ways. I was like, I just should have rented a plane. It should have sort of been easier to rent the plane.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Barbara Jean's having issues. Barbara Jean, maybe you need to turn your phone off and turn it back on again. That my phone was glitching out and it wouldn't load text properly or send text properly. I had to do the same thing. I don't know. They're working on something with the interwebs in St. Johns County.
They are doing that.
I think it's glitching out everybody's phone.
We had a joint meeting of
you hit that joint so hard and paused for so long. It's like, Mike Davis, who are you?
It was a joint meeting of the Planning and Zoning Board, of the Entry Corridor Review Committee, and the Historical Architectural Review Committee.
Yeah.
And we went over the vision for the city, and we went over some sustainability issues as far as dealing with flooding and fill dirt and things like that, which we didn't get very far with because we spent so much time on the first one. And we had a hard break. Some of the members had to leave after 3 hours.
Yeah.
There was a deaf interpreter there. She had to leave after 3 hours, which meant you really couldn't do the meetings. You had someone there that needed the deaf interpreter. And then, which I think is great that the city provided that service and that they have someone that does that. But also when one of the people left, there was a quorum also. It was just a hard break. But yeah, we could have probably talked at that joint meeting for another hour and a half just about construction practices.
So you're hitting the joint and now we can't work the interwebs? What is going on?
We can't work the interweb. Not at all.
Yeah. See, Kathy, she got it too.
I figured she
hit that joint so
Look, I know what words to emphasize and to have fun.
I don't know if that helps the algorithm.
Well, it might in California. It definitely does in Colorado.
Yes.
In Colorado, it definitely is. We're going to have so many Colorado viewers overnight. Yeah, overnight.
In Colorado.
I know our Colorado viewership is going to be through the roof.
Our demographics aren't great on that coast.
We had all that viewership from the Middle East at one point in time.
We did. That was weird. I got a little nervous because I'm awful lippy and I'm not scantily clad, but like I'm not. Oh,
over there you are.
I'm not fully covered either.
Over there you are.
And I express my opinions, and I'll see because I'm a moderator on our page. I'll see the people that click in and are viewing. And there was a while there that it was not. What would our characters be? It was not the English alphabet.
It was. Yeah. It was easy to tell that it was somebody from a very different.
Yes.
Region of the world.
Yeah.
Just by spelling.
Yes. Yep. Just the alphabet. The alphabet was different.
It was very different. But that's okay.
It's fine. We welcome all viewers.
It was just very interesting.
I'm just not. I wouldn't think that I'm the person they want to hear from.
You weren't. They were calling to listen to me.
Yeah, for sure.
I have no idea.
Maybe it was definitely not me.
It was probably Pete or David. Troy. Maybe it was Troy.
Fake accounts.
Maybe it was Troy. It might have been. You have no idea. Bots are everywhere.
Yes, Robert Jean, we can hear you now.
Yep. So you and I are both have released the entire report.
Yeah, release everything.
All the reports.
Yeah.
Release them all. I would
I'm
love to know them all.
aflame the federal government. Let's just close down all of these unconstitutional federal agencies. Remove income tax. Let's go to a consumption tax. I'm a fair tax advocate from way back. So let's just flame all these government agencies and let's go.
I love it.
Threaten me with a good time.
I love it when someone says, well, you can't seriously want them to shut the government down.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great start.
Yes, I do.
It's a great start. Let's start there and see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's see how much we really need it.
Do you remember?
But people won't get their paycheck. Well, people that don't work for the
Yeah.
government have fought to keep their paychecks for a long time, much longer than people that in the government have.
Definitely unfriended during the Obama years with all the shutdown.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was celebrating the shutdowns, and I had some friends that get paid by the federal government that were not happy with me celebrating the shutdowns. I'm like, I'm really sorry for you personally.
I am sorry for you personally, but that's when you look at them a week later and go, you're back to work, right? Yeah. You're going to apologize to me?
Yeah, no.
For what? Well,
No.
you're overspending my tax dollars and driving me into debt because you're a part of the system that's doing that. So you're guilty. So where's my apology?
Line item budgeting. It's the scourge.
Can you imagine if Trump or any president had the line item veto? That would be fun.
Veto the line item budgeting.
Yes.
It's a good start.
I just wish President Biden could say a line.
He
A complete sentence.
He can say a line. I pardon my son, Hunter Biden, from everything he's done and everything he will do.
One complete sentence.
Forever in perpetuity.
One complete sentence.
Oh, he said some let's ban all guns complete sentences.
Yeah, I know, but someone else wrote that for him.
Of course they did.
Because he didn't say let's ban Hunter's gun.
No.
Just saying.
When did he do
that? Was an overzealous Department of Justice.
Was that two weeks ago that he pardoned Hunter Biden?
About 2 weeks ago.
And
on a Friday afternoon.
So he pardoned him, and one of his offenses they were weapons charges. And yeah, now suddenly it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's not a problem when his son's throwing guns into dumpsters at schools.
No,
it's not a problem.
All right. So
or lying on federal forms to get them.
So the other question that came up is we had talked about a completely different subject, Syria and how they fell. Mm-hmm. And I still do not have an answer anywhere from anything that I've been reading about who was funding it.
Yeah.
And we know it wasn't Russia because they're out of there and they lost. We know it wasn't Iran. They're out of there and lost. We know it wasn't the Assad regime because he took all his money with him to Russia when he left, I'm sure. So
is he in Russia? Is that where he was?
He's in Russia. Yes, he's in Russia. So the question is, where'd they get their funding from? Well, there's only really 3-4 countries that are capable of funding that operation. One would be the United States. 2 would be China. 3 would be Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
I'm not even, then you look at maybe Turkey because of the proximity.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not even sure that the Israelis maybe backdoor channeling weren't helping as well. Because if you bring down Assad, you get a chance to do exactly what they've done, which is take out all of the weapons that they know of that are mass destruction and other weapons caches. They've been blowing up everything in Syria, just trying to deprive whoever's going to be the next rulers from weapons that can be used against Israel. So I don't know who it was, but somebody could do a little reporting and let us know. It did not happen organically and in a vacuum.
Speaking of inorganic, what do you think about the CNN reporter fake freeing a prisoner who was a horrible, infamous torturer who was imprisoned because he was extorting money without giving Assad his cut, I believe?
He was extorting money, and I think he was giving a cut, but the guy that he worked under, who was like a general, got mad that his cut wasn't enough. And he didn't want to give him any bigger a cut. And so he got put in prison.
Not the torturing part that they had a problem with.
It was the torture. It was the money made trying to keep you out of torture, your loved one out of torture, not being tortured in a certain way, or even being arrested in a certain way. And I'm sure there was a whole other laundry list. Because if you're asking for that kind of bad stuff, you're not stopping there, right? Yeah. The list probably got a lot worse. He gave a false name. He gave a false name to CNN. They just took him at his word. They were so happy that they had freed somebody from inside this notorious jail, that they didn't do any background checking before they released released him and the story. So once again, nice job, CNN.
Come on. And just to buy his story of, I've been in prison for 3 months, but my coat is totally clean. I have no access to a bathroom. I've been abandoned for 4 days. I haven't had to use the bathroom anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
There's not like a little pile in the corner.
That would mean them critically thinking. So they just treated him like any Democrat interview they ever did. They just believed everything he said.
Uh-huh.
They believed everything he said, just like every Democrat interview. There was no need for follow-up questions. There was no need for investigative journalism. We believe this person. He probably simply told them, I'm a member of the Democrat Socialist Party, and boom, he was in. That's all they needed to hear.
So that reporter, I don't know if you remember that, the blonde chick, the CNN girl, I don't remember her name. But she was also kind of made fun of because she did some live report where she was having to take cover because of shells firing and like explosions happening near her. Meanwhile, the camera pans just a little too wide and you see people walking normally without any sort of headgear.
Is this the one where Brian Williams flew in a helicopter to rescue her?
Different story.
Okay. I get them confused.
Close.
Get them confused.
But she's like falling down and taking cover and the camera's all shaky because they're under fire.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the people that are like on the sidewalk completely without cover are just walking. And they don't have on hard helmets. They're not rushing even. They're just leisurely walking, wondering what this blonde chick is doing, throwing herself all over the ground.
Yep.
So she has a dubious history of dramatizing her reports, editorializing her reports, not being 100% factual with her report.
Well, okay. If she's just slightly less than 100%, then that makes her an excellent reporter. In liberal standards.
Well,
wait a minute. Let me finish. Let me finish. Because a really good reporter's accurate probably 90, 95% of the time. Because even if you're checking sources, you're on the fly and you're making mistakes. So, yeah, I don't put many liberal reporters above the Mendoza line of like 30%. Accurate.
Yeah.
Most of what I give them credit for accuracy on is the date and their name and the organization they work for. After that, I'm not sure I believe much of it.
Yeah.
And I'm being generous on that most of the time.
All right. So who do you think is more accurate? An MSNBC, CNN reporter or a weather person?
Oh, that's easy, weather.
Oh.
See, it wasn't even close.
Wasn't even close. Not a hesitation.
Not even a hesitation, no. I know there's somewhere in there was a trick question, but I just blew right through that.
Yeah.
Not any way, anyhow. Weather definitely trumps them.
Even though they said we were going to have a cold Christmas, and I've been checking because I wanted a cold Christmas.
You lied to me.
And those weather people lied.
It's not.
I think I still have the screenshot of the weather report that I checked when I got back into town.
It's not. It's going to be in the 60s.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like in the 40s.
It's going to be in the 60s.
And that sucks, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
Long range forecast, the 25th, 68 with an 11 mile an hour east wind.
Dude, that's not even like
low
warm.
of 57. That's and then
almost 70. It's hot.
This is way deep into a report. Friday night, the temperature is supposed to drop down to 41. And there's a wind, 14 mile an hour wind that morning. This Friday out of the northwest. So it will be a little bit chilly on Saturday morning with a high of only 56. And if it's a 14 mile an hour wind, that means the wind chill's putting it in the 40s.
It's going to be cold.
Finally.
Are you going to surf?
If there were waves, I would. I'm
no waves?
Today's day 31. Day 31 without surfing. This is
You're like Kramer with the high pressure shower head.
No.
I've got 73. High of 73 and a low of 57 on Christmas.
67 is not far from there.
I don't like it. I knew we were going to get all the cold weather too early. I knew that's what was going on.
I have a flash for you. There will be more cold weather back. It's called January and February.
I want it on Christmas.
I like beautiful days on Christmas. I didn't even look to see if it was supposed to rain on Christmas Day. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Yeah, chance of rain, 34%.
It was supposed to rain on Monday the 23rd and then give us cold
Mhm.
Christmas Eve and a cold Christmas.
Yeah.
And
Well, the good news is it's the weather, so it'll change.
I hope
You
so.
still have a shot.
It's not going in the right direction.
You're saying I still have a shot.
It's like 40 degrees more than it said it was going to be.
Still got a shot. Still going to be in good shape.
I don't like it.
Still
Don't like
going to
it
be
one
in
bit.
good shape. Donald Trump is supposedly considering presidential pardon for New York City Mayor Eric Adams.
Why?
He feels he's been treated very unfairly. Very unfairly.
He's just empathizing with the man because the same DA that went after him is going after Adams.
Yes.
Isn't it weird how when Adams spoke out about the influx of illegal migrants, suddenly he has charges?
Yes.
Isn't that
Just
weird?
interesting.
Bobby says it sounds like the meteorologists who go into the waist deep water and lean into the wind while people are casually walking in the background. Yes, that's exactly what it was, only the war edition. And she's a pretty blonde, so she got away with it.
She got away with it. There's some jealousy towards blondes with you. I'm just checking. It sounded very acid. Just a little bit of tone to your voice. I'm just detecting something. Okay, so it's everyone, not just blondes. Okay,
Yes.
got it. Okay. Just making sure it's everyone and not blondes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Everyone that lies.
Yes.
There were good waves last weekend, Bobby says, at the pier.
Bobby, there were not.
At the Santa run. It was at Santa's on the Loose on Saturday.
It wasn't good enough to
Not good enough.
shake me out of the doldrums and go.
When are we going to get the Mike Davis wave complex? When are you going to build your own
when I win the lottery,
indoor wave complex?
when I win the lottery.
If only you knew someone in construction.
I could do the construction on it. I just got to win the lottery to pay for it.
Yeah.
So back to Matt Gaetz. He posted on X today, formerly Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Someone suggested this plan to him. Show up for the 1-3-25 to Congress. Participate in the speaker election. He was elected to the 119th Congress after all. Take the oath. File a privilege motion to expose every Me Too settlement using public funds and even of former members.
Mm-hmm.
Resign and start my own One American News Network program at 9 p.m. on January the 6th.
So is that what he's doing?
It's Matt Gaetz. What do you think if he could poke somebody in the eye, he would do it?
No, I mean the One American News Network. Is that what he's doing?
That's a done deal. He's got that deal. He's in.
Yeah, he very much has a sixth sense for where a camera is, and that's why he became a household name, because he knew where the cameras were and he always got them pointed in his direction. So I guess that's what he wants to do.
Apparently, it's not a bad thing. I know two people who do that 4 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's how many cameras in here?
We work 4 times as hard as Rachel Maddow and make zero the amount of money that she does.
That is true.
So very true. Very, very true.
Anyway, I mean, he resigned quickly, and we all kind of raised our eyebrow at how fast he resigned when he was nominated for AG. So was that a move to try and stop this ethics report from coming out? Who knows?
I don't know.
I mean, he's a very politically savvy dude in a politically savvy family. And if he's going to fall on his sword at this point to try and save his future, trying to become governor or president, then I could see him doing that.
I think he's a very smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly do. The time I've met him, talked to him, I think he's a really smart guy.
Yeah.
After that, I think Kevin McCarthy hates his guts.
Oh, for sure. And
hates
a ton
guts.
A ton of the old guard Republicans can't stand him.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't afraid of them, which, I mean, if it takes that kind of person to root out some of the crazy, then there's that. I wish that we could just get people in the House and the Senate that were decent human beings, regardless of their political party. But, you know, it would be easier to find unicorns, maybe.
So speaking of finding a unicorn, and someone who is universally hated, at least on one side,
Mhm.
Used to be
I thought we were
University of
changing the
Edinburgh.
subject from Eck.
I am. I was talking about Liz Cheney.
Yeah. Other side hates her.
The other side, well, yeah.
right.
So there's been some discussion of whether or not she should be investigated for potentially witness tampering in
It
the
sounds like she
J6
did.
investigation. I don't know what the laws are in the District of Columbia.
Mhm.
I don't know whether it's District of Columbia. I have no idea what the jurisdiction is. I'm assuming it's that,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it's some federal law that would fall to the FBI or the DOJ. It is going to get investigated. I can tell you that right now. There's no way it's not going to be investigated.
Threaten me with a good time.
I know. I really am looking forward to it.
if you do
I shouldn't
something,
be, but I'm really, really looking forward to the stuff that if half the stuff I've heard is true, then it means there's a lot more stuff that we haven't heard that is true. And if she was involved and Bernie Thompson was involved in rigging the outcome of that, and basically just doing a made for TV hearing, rather than actually looking into what happened, then there may be some repercussions on it.
Because there's some way shady stuff that we don't have answers to. There's the police officer who is the reason why the buildings got evacuated, and that there's audio recordings of this man begging for help, begging for backup, and people just not answering. And he's begging for someone to make the call up the chain to evacuate the building, and nobody's answering him. And he just went rogue and he evacuated the building. He pulled the trigger on that decision, which broke ranks, and he ended up getting in trouble for it. But he was the reason why these elected officials were not confronted by these protesters and these rioters, whatever you want to call them. He's the reason why they were not in the building at that point. And some of the people that infiltrated the building even helped him. There's another clip of him begging for a bullhorn so he can try and restore some order and engage in some crowd control. And he needed a way to make his voice louder. And a protester had a bullhorn. So you hear him calling for a bullhorn and no one will answer him. And a protester finally gives him one. And a couple of off-duty police officers, retired military guys, see that this police officer is trying to restore order to this base, and they end up helping him. His own comrades who were on the job, his superior officers, will not answer him on the intercom system, and it's all recorded. They just recently released it in the past few weeks. And that dude, I don't know if he lost his job. I do know that he was reprimanded and he did get in trouble. I'm pretty sure he was suspended for a period of time. I don't know if it was an indefinite suspension, which is a nice way to say fired. But there are things that we don't know about January 6th that I really would have rathered the J6 committee find answers on, especially the number of undercover agents that were there. We just got a number of informants or people that are working with secret services, not secret services, but special services. But that's just coming out now. Why we had all these hearings? Why weren't we getting these answers then? That's what's so annoying. So let's do this. Investigator.
I think they should. 100%. I have no issue with that. It will not take long to do, especially if you have the right person in the DOJ and the FBI that says, "Hey, we actually want the records. We're going to look at the records, and we're going to tell you, no, she didn't do anything like that, and go about your business." Or, yes, you did.
Yeah.
So I think that will be very, very interesting. There's a story out right now that Tim Pool is likely selling to the Daily Wire.
He's kind of, so there are rumors that he's selling to the Daily Wire.
And Tim Pool, by the way, is Pete Melfi's, I think, go-to news source.
Well, it's not a bad call. He's a libertarian, left-leaning libertarian, honestly, that has tilted toward the right in the past few years. I've been listening to Tim Pool, not religiously, but I regularly catch his videos probably for about 5 years.
Yep.
Maybe 6 years. And so I've kind of seen this transition of him being a never Trumper to being full MAGA, which has been interesting. But he's not, he's spoken about it openly. He doesn't want to run multiple companies. And so it wouldn't surprise me if he did some sort of licensing offshoot where he can kind of offshore all of his HR concerns to a company that's better suited for that, so that he can just do what he wants to do, which is research and do his shows. He doesn't like doing the business end of it and the staff management. So that would make sense for him in his trajectory. He's grown to the point that it seems like he's kind of over the HR being the boss man, and he just wants to go back to the creative talent. And that's just, he's a creative guy, and he's worked himself into the position of being a CEO, and that's never really been his dream to be the CEO. He wants to be the guy investigating things and talking about the news.
I get all that, but the problem is once you're not the CEO, you give up authority to what you can say as a non-CEO or what you can do.
Yeah.
So content becomes an issue sooner or later.
Yeah.
Might not be sooner. That's a Daily Wire, but the Daily Wire's had some bad breakups with some of their people.
Yeah.
I don't know
Brett
that
Cooper's recent.
Yeah, I think wasn't Candace Owen in the Daily Wire?
Yeah, Candace Owens was before. That was an ugly breakup.
That was an ugly breakup.
The Brett Cooper one was super sudden. That was just recent in the past week or two.
Yes.
And there's a lot of unanswered questions there. Brett Cooper just wasn't on her show, and it was like, oh, well, the producer's filling in, and she'll be back on Friday, except she wasn't, and she'll be back on Monday, except she wasn't, and then, oh yeah, she doesn't have a job there. Rumors going everywhere.
Yeah.
Nobody addressed, and then suddenly, yeah, this is my last show. And her best friend, who was the maid of honor at her wedding, was her producer, and now they have Brett Cooper has unfollowed her and removed all of the wedding pictures on her social media that included her, and now that chick's in her chair on her Daily Wire show. And so her Daily Wire show is called The Comments Section, and the producer's first show as the official host of The Comments Section, everybody was in the comments section. Hey, the show is aptly named because that's exactly what I'm here for.
Yes,
I'm here for the comment section. I want to find out what everybody else is saying about this. And people were not kind to that poor girl. And that they needed to give that time. If they wanted that to be, they set that producer up for failure.
Yes.
Because you don't immediately break up with someone who was a rising star in the Daily Wire and had a huge following, and just scrub her from everything and just think you can drop another Gen Z chick in there and think that everyone's just going to be okay. This is not a sitcom where the kid goes up to bed and just never comes back down the stairs again.
Yes.
Like, that is not the scenario. People have these parasocial relationships with their podcast host, and people were emotionally invested in Brett Cooper, and they do not like that Brett Cooper's comment section is no longer Brett Cooper's. And like, she had a Facebook page and that was part of what Steven Crowder was saying about when he had his riff with the Daily Wire, that their contract felt predatory because it was, you no longer own your social media.
Yeah.
So if your show's your name, you don't own that anymore. So if you leave, you can no longer use your name for your new show on a different platform because Daily Wire owns the name of your show. So had it been Brett Cooper's show, her next show couldn't be Brett Cooper. So Candace Owens' show was the Candace Owens show. And so her new venture is now just called Candace because she no longer has the rights to the Candace Owens show. She signed it over to Daily Wire.
They're really good. For me, those are great negotiations. Like, no, you don't get my name.
Yeah.
That's just a non.
Well, that's why.
I get it. And you know what? I'd rather just be right where I'm at than to have to deal with you and knowing that down the road we're going to disagree and you're going to tell me I can't have my name. So, no.
So I would be surprised if Tim Pool sells completely to Daily Wire. I could see a licensing deal.
I'll be very curious to see what happens.
But Tim Pool has openly admitted that he's burned out with as the long hours that he's running. I believe he's engaged. He's having a child, which he announced when he was talking about the burnout situation that he was going through. He had kind of a meltdown and fired some staff. and some contributors. And so all of that was a thing that happened in the past few months.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wouldn't surprise me if he's looking for some kind of partnership just to offshoot the aspects of the business that he doesn't want to deal with. But I would be shocked. He is such an anti-establishment control freak. I would be shocked if he completely sold it. I really think it would be a licensing partnership.
What little I've watched of Tim Pool, I do not think he would ever be happy unless he's in charge. And I don't mean that in a negative way.
There's just personality.
I just think that what I see of him is an independent person who wants to do things his way. And when you get in a corporation, that's the last thing they want you to do.
Yeah.
Big corporations, big business will stifle innovation.
Yeah.
100%.
And it would just, I'm interested to see how that's going to pan out, because the rumors coming out of, there's a lot of weird rumors coming out of the Daily Wire. And maybe if they needed to, it might make sense that Brett Cooper left the company if they needed to pay Tim Pool a ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
There are some rumors that they sunk a ton of money into their big, I can't remember what it's called, but they did this big epic that Brett Cooper acted in, one of their fiction movie properties or TV shows or something, that sunk a ton of their capital into that project, and now they're in financial trouble. There's talk that Daily Wire's merging with Fox News, and Jeremy Boring didn't totally shoot that down. So there's lots of rumors about the Daily Wire right now.
Okay.
So we'll see. This is one of about 5 plausible rumors involving the Daily Wire right now.
But I think a lot of this, people are burned out. It's been a long run of intense news cycles. And you can go all the way back to starting in 2015 with Donald Trump's first election. So it's almost been 10 years of a vicious ongoing news cycle that involved Trump versus Clinton, the entire Trump presidency, COVID at the end of Trump's presidency, COVID at the beginning of Biden's presidency, inflation, Afghanistan. I mean, I can go on and on. I mean, you could do the Billy Joel song and keep going, but all of that has impacted Americans. And they're just like, you know what? I just want to go live my life. I don't know that I want to be this plugged in to all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have these people that are their own outlets, they're independent media. Crowder being one of them. Daily Wire is independent. Tim Pool is independent. They've been burning the candle at both ends because, like you said, it hasn't just been an election cycle. It's been an election cycle on the heels of an insane pandemic and a previous election cycle. It's just been one crazy thing after another. And usually you get like 2 years to recover in between crazy periods, and we haven't.
No.
It's been wild. I feel like, in a weird way, I feel like 2019 was just yesterday, but I also feel like it's been 30 years. Barbara Jean wants to know when The View is going to get canceled. I don't know if it ever will.
I don't know. Right now, it's creating audience, and the audience is people that want to watch The View to then critique it later.
Yeah, so many people hate watching.
So if you watch Gutfeld, every single night, Gutfeld has a joke or a segment or something The View said. He is providing free content to them, but he is also giving them viewership. I've never watched The View. I don't want to watch The View.
Yeah.
No offense to older women, but a show of older women sitting around discussing what's going on in the world it's just not me. I feel the same way about men discussing sports. I don't watch sports talk show. There's a lot of people that do. They love it. Yeah. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
I mean, when the game's on, if I want to watch the game, I will. If not, I'll look on my phone to see what the score was. But I can't do 24/7 sports talk.
Yeah.
If you told me that's what I had to do, I'd be like, well, this has been fun doing this, and I am now out of here, right? It's just not what I want to do. So when I say that, there's things I'll watch and there's things I won't watch, right? I mean, I like surfing. I don't think a lot of surf contests are fun to watch. They're boring in between waves. And no matter how hard they try to make it fun, it's just not as much fun as watching a basketball or a football game, right?
Yeah.
So, and baseball, I think baseball's phenomenal if you're live.
Yeah.
There's so many things to watch
it's
going on in the field.
Watch when
you could miss like 4 pitches.
Yeah.
But then on TV, You fall asleep between the pitches.
Yeah.
It's the same game, but there's nothing to watch.
Yeah.
Because they're showing you just the catcher and the pitcher. And you're like, I'm kind of bored with this. What is everybody else
You
doing?
don't see the kooky people in the stands.
Yeah. But I know you watch things you're like, man, I almost got hit by that foul ball.
Yeah.
Watching that person try to hand a beer to somebody while spilling it on someone else, right? It's just interesting.
Yeah.
So, yes.
And nobody sells me beer and peanuts in my living room when I'm trying to watch
No.
baseball. So
No.
it's just not worth it.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird. And I don't think the weird's going away.
Yeah.
I think the weird's staying.
Kathy says, who watches this trash? I remember the first episode of The View.
Uh-huh.
Either I was homesick that day or it was
made you sick.
Or I was during summer. I don't remember, but I remember it being like this big deal and Barbara Walters explaining what she wanted The View to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it started out as, The View with Barbara Walters, and she was kind of ruling the roost. So I remember that first episode, and I remember a few moments watching it where I thought it was interesting, but that was 30 years ago, 20 years ago. It's wild.
Yeah, back when they were young. Cheap shot, I know, but true.
Well, Joy's
back
been
when
there.
I was young 30 years ago.
At this point, Joy's the one that's been there the longest because she was on the original cast, and she's the only one left on the original cast.
My favorite comment on The View is, how can you have a show that's so negative and so divisive where the hosts are named Whoopi, Joy, and Summer?
Yeah.
But they managed to do it. It's switching gears entertainment-wise. Homestead, Angel Studios comes out. It's a movie that comes out Christmas Day or right before Christmas Day. Have you seen the previews, and are you going to go?
I haven't seen the previews.
So it is like a post-apocalyptic movie. What happens if there's a nuclear attack or some type of attack? And I don't know, because I on these movies I try not to watch too many of the previews because I want to enjoy the movie and not know what's going on. I've referred to it as a survivalist movie without the zombies.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be very curious the picture that it paints. Is it a Mad Max type picture? And just where does it go? It's got a great cast. Neil McDonough's in it. But I think it comes out on the 24th or the 25th.
Oh, our blonde guy.
Yes.
Okay, so this is an
Blue
Angel
Eyes.
Studios film.
Mm-hmm.
A nuclear bomb detonates in Los Angeles. Of course it does. That's great.
Why do I hear people cheering?
And America was free. Never mind.
Kidding.
Sorry, as a joke. Amid chaos, ex-Green Beret joins prepper compound. Love grows, truth arises, and community unites. This sounds like a Last Babylon.
What's the opening date?
Opening date. Christmas in theaters.
Okay.
Christmas.
It was such an uplifting movie.
I know.
To celebrate the birth of Jesus, we'll just talk about the
A
apocalypse.
Christian conservative.
From a Christian conservative.
We're going to talk about the apocalypse. It's Revelation, I guess, or a view on Revelation.
I would have released it on May Day.
Barbara Jean, I'm just going to tell you, there's a lot of hot dudes in this movie. You might want to go see it.
I would have
Christmas
released
Day.
it on May Day. Just saying.
On May Day?
On May Day.
Nice.
That would have been a more appropriate day to release
May
it.
Day.
Well, May Day is the communist celebration day. So I would have released it on that day.
It's also a cry for help, isn't it?
May
Day, we're going down.
Yes, May Day is. But May Day itself was Communist Day back in the 80s when the great Ronald Reagan was our president.
So the story itself reminds me of a book called The Last Babylon that I read in high school. And that's how I found out I was living right next to a military base that's definitely going to get nuked should the nuclear apocalypse comes. And that was a little earth shattering at that moment. Like, maybe I'll live somewhere else when I graduate high school. And I did.
They've done that study, and we've talked about it, especially on Thursday on trivia. People will take all these different criteria, plug them into an algorithm, and then tell you where's the safest place to be.
Yeah. Someone just released that map actually on Facebook.
Well, we talked about it. Yeah. There was one map that the safest places were all out west. The key was being close to water, but not too close to a city or a military base that would probably get hit by nukes.
Yeah.
And then a food source. And that drove that one, which had everything more out west. This latest one must not have taken any of that into account because all the places were in the Northeast, which is a densely populated area where there's a lot of places you could bomb.
Yeah.
if you wanted to. So yeah.
Well, if you're
just a
looking for
interesting
numbers,
question.
then
Yes.
you would go for dense population centers. And I would think the Northeast would be a prime target because you've got a lot of dense population centers in a very short span. And if you hit the right one
Yep.
on the right day with the right winds, you could take out
Even more.
5.
Yeah. I completely agree. Completely agree.
That's someone's dumb.
Yeah.
Is that the same person that had the 12 keys to the White House that totally blew it because they had no idea?
Have you ever seen an interview with that guy?
No.
I watched an interview with him, and somebody that was a liberal pundit was attacking him
Before or after the election?
after the election, and he lost it on them in a very non-professorial tone.
Yeah.
It was bad, and he wanted the host to it was on a Piers Morgan show. How I remember this, I don't know, but it was on a Piers Morgan show, and the guy was just furious. And then they brought him back on again. It's like, hey, lightning in a bottle. Let's put these two guys back on again and see what happens. But it's like, dude, just admit you made a mistake. It wasn't perfect. Hey, I've gotten all these other ones right, and move on. But he was like that little kid that you picked on in school.
That lost it.
That
He was
lost
Ralphie?
it, and you're like, you know what? We got to go back at this again. We
He
got
was
to just go see if we
Ralphie?
can get the same reaction again. No, not in a defensive way, in a yelling, screaming, I will overpower you with my voice, which was like, no.
Alan
that's not gonna-
Lichtman.
Yes.
That's funny.
It was not, if you want to watch something that's not a pretty video, that's it.
A tall glass of shut up juice.
It's not good.
Wow, that's
It's just not good.
that's a terrible quote.
And I'm forever. I mean, just take the abuse and say, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
And then you're well respected next time. Say what you say there. Do what you did on camera.
That
and
is
the next time it goes around, people are going to go, is that the guy that blew up on Piers Morgan after his wrong last time? They'll
Yeah.
remember you. You just made sure they remember you.
Yeah, we all
You
remember
want
now.
to not be remembered for your mistakes. You
I'll
want to be
never
remembered for
forget
the
those
things you got
12
right.
keys. That was a Tim Pool video that I watched because he announced the 12 keys and he, went through them all
Mhm.
and then gave the explanation from Lichtman as to why he thought that Harris would win because this, that, and the other. And Tim Pool just laid it out systematically, exactly why he was wrong. This dude's an elitist who's completely out of touch.
Out of touch.
He doesn't know the price of butter, which
But
neither did Joe Scarborough, we found out. So, this is why this.
are you
this
being a
prediction
sexist and say that
proves-
Mika does all the shopping for him?
Well, they proved that.
She knew what the price of butter was?
Yes. So he made a comment on the price of butter being too high and then said it was something like $3 and she was like, it's $7.
Yeah.
And he was like, what? And she's like, it's $7. Butter's $7. It depends on where you go, but butter's $7.
I think
And he was like, what is that butter wrapped in gold?
No.
And she's like looking at the camera like, what? Clearly you're
I
not.
think he lost an argument with her and had to be a dummy on never mind. He's won anyway. It's okay. It's all
He's
right.
just always a dummy.
He's a dummy. He's a
always the
big
dummy.
dummy is what he is.
Yes.
All right. Tomorrow night we have the Bollocks on.
We do.
The morning
We
show
have
is
the
on.
Bollocks on.
The Bollocks. We have the Bollocks boys on tomorrow
Yeah.
night. And in the morning, you've got the morning crew with a man down.
Man down.
Man down. And boy, is all the energy gone out of that.
Davey is
Just
leaving
wanna
the country.
say,
Leaving
Davey,
the
have an
country.
amazing vacation.
I know. I hope that he has a wonderful
Yep.
vacation. He has earned that vacation,
Mhm.
and I hope that he's going to be there with a bunch of friends. I hope that they have a great time.
Yes. All right. and
Barbara
here's-
Jean, I'll send you the link for the trailer for that movie.
Yeah,
pretty
Barbara
hot.
Jean, you'll like the movie.
You'll like the movie.
You'll like the movie. Yeah, I mean, there's certain movies I tell guys, you'll like that movie.
Yes.
They go, what's it about? I just go, you'll like the movie.
That means Phoebe Kate takes her top off in it. Face.
Just swimming pool. Just swimming pool. That's all you had to do is say swimming pool. Could have
All right.
kept it classy. All right. Thank you all.
That'd
We'll
be-
see you tomorrow night.
Bye.